welcome back to the Anna-losophy Podcast. Over the past few episodes, we've explored philosophy through stories. We follow a narcissist to talk about identity and vanity. We watch Soul and ask whether every person has one true purpose in life. Most recently, we explored The Truman Show and questioned whether we should choose the truth, even if it means leaving behind everything we had ever known. And today, I want to talk about another one of my favorite philosophical stories, The Good Place. Unlike the movies we've discussed so far, The Good Place unfolds over 4 seasons, so it's not a movie. The characters change, their ideas evolve a lot, and the philosophical questions become deeper with every episode. Because of that, I've decided to focus almost entirely on the last episode of the 4th season. I genuinely think it's one of the most thoughtful endings I've ever seen on television, and the ideas that's packed into that one episode are more than enough for today's discussion. If you haven't watched The Good Place yet, I'd really recommend watching it first, or at least reading a quick summary of the series, because today's episode will contain major spoilers. So, as always, I'll briefly explain how we arrive at the final episode, and then we'll spend the rest of our time exploring the philosophy behind its ending. We'll talk about why paradise eventually stops feeling like paradise, why eternity becomes a very hard idea to live with, and what the ending suggests about one of the oldest philosophical questions of all: what actually gives life meaning? Let's go. Before we get into the philosophy, let me quickly summarize the ending of The Good Place. Throughout the series, Eleanor Shellstrop, Chidi Anagonye, Tahani Al-Jamil, and Jason Mendoza discover that the afterlife isn't as fair as they first believed. For some context prior, there's a good place and a bad place, but for centuries, every single person has ended up in the bad place. The problem isn't that humanity suddenly became bad people. Instead, modern life has become so complicated and interconnected that almost every action creates consequences we never intended. One of the examples the show gives is buying your grandmother a bouquet of flowers. It seems like you're doing something kind, so you would expect to earn points. Instead, you lose points because those flowers may have been grown using harmful pesticides and shipped across the world in ways that damage the environment. So even though your intention was good, your actions still contributed to harm somewhere else. Because modern life is filled with hidden consequences like these, nobody has earned enough points to reach the good place for hundreds of years. After years of working together, though, the 4 friends eventually convince the judge that the system is broken and unfair. Instead of judging people based only on the consequences of their actions on Earth, they create a new afterlife. Now, every person who dies enters a series of designed neighborhoods, where they're given as many chances as they need to learn from their mistakes, improve as people, and grow morally. In this process, they can fail, learn, try again, and continue improving until they really become better people. Only then are they allowed to enter the good place. That is why here, the afterlife is more so about growth than just being perfect from the start. At first, the new good place seems exactly as everyone imagined. As designers of the good place, all 4 of them earned the spot to be there first. There is no pain, no fear, and no limit to what anyone can experience. For a while, it does feel like genuine paradise. Eventually, however, Eleanor notices something unexpected. The people living there no longer seem happy. After experiencing everything imaginable for an eternity, nothing feels exciting anymore. This is because every dream has already been fulfilled, every question has already been answered, and every experience has become familiar. Without an ending, time itself begins to lose its meaning. Now, to solve this problem, Eleanor and the others create one last change to the afterlife. They build this door that anyone can walk through whenever they really feel that their life is complete. Nobody is forced to leave, and nobody is told when their time has come. The decision belongs entirely to the individual. One by one, the main characters make their choice. Jason is the first, and after waiting for the perfect moment, he walks through the door. Chidi eventually reaches the same decision after spending countless years learning, teaching, and exploring everything he ever wanted to understand. Tahani, though, realizes she isn't ready to leave at all. Instead, she decides to remain in the afterlife and becomes an architect, helping future generations of people make their way through the new system that she and her friends created. Eleanor Shellstrop is the last to leave. Saying goodbye to Chidi was incredibly difficult for her, but After helping Michael, the architect, finally achieve his dream of becoming a human, she realizes that she has found the peace she had been searching for. She walks through the door and her essence returns to the universe. The series ends with those final sparks of Eleanor's kindness inspiring a stranger on Earth to perform a small act of kindness itself. It's a very sweet ending, and it also introduces us to one of the most philosophical questions the show ever asked. If we could live forever, would life still have meaning? Let's go to the philosophy of it. So let's begin with the philosophical question in The Good Place. If we could live forever, would life still have meaning? I think most of us imagine eternity as an unlimited version of the life we already enjoy. If one vacation makes us happy, then endless vacations must be even better. It's very easy to imagine eternity as an endless collection of good experiences, hence, it'll be the best. The characters in The Good Place think exactly the same thing. When Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and Jason finally arrive in The Good Place, they're surrounded by everything they could possibly want. Every historical figure they've ever admired is there. They can visit any place, eat anything they want, learn any skill, and spend as much time with the people they love and make friends as they wish. At first, it really does feel like paradise. But then something very unexpected begins to happen. After thousands of years, everyone has already done everything they ever wanted to do. They've climbed every mountain, learned every language, read every book, and mastered every hobby. Since there's always going to be another tomorrow, nothing feels urgent or exciting anymore, because there'll always be time to do it later. Gradually, the excitement that once came from new experiences begins to disappear, because the experiences became familiar. I think that's a very good observation the show makes, because some of the happiest moments in our own lives feel special because they don't last forever. Think about your favorite vacation. Imagine it lasted 1 month or 2 months instead of 1 week. Then imagine it lasted 1 year, then 100 years. Eventually, it would stop feeling like a vacation at all, because the experience hasn't changed. We have, and we naturally become accustomed to almost everything, no matter how great it is. Psychologists even have a name for this: hedonic adaptation. And hedonic adaptation describes our tendency to become used to positive experiences over time. For example, winning the lottery feels incredible at first, but eventually that excitement fades into everyday life. Buying something you've wanted for such a long time feels exciting, but after a while, it simply becomes another object you own. Of course, it can be special, but you're not going to be as excited as you were the day you got it. So that is, our minds always adjust to new circumstances, and this is why lasting happiness is a lot more complicated than we expect. Before psychologists began studying happiness, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer was already asking why satisfaction never seems to last. He noticed something pretty surprising about human nature, and that is, whenever we imagine the future, we tend to focus on something we don't have yet. It might be a dream university, a promotion, a new house, and many other things. Whatever it is, though, we convince ourselves that life will feel just a bit easier or complete once we finally reach it. And then we do. For a while, there's genuine excitement. We celebrate, we tell our friends, and we enjoy the feeling that months or years of work have finally paid off. Gradually, though, that achievement stops feeling extraordinary. Of course, you would probably still feel pretty happy about it, but you won't be as shocked or thrilled as you were the day you got it, in most cases. It becomes part of ordinary life, and our attention begins drifting towards the next goal without us even realizing it. Schopenhauer thought that this was a part of human nature. Our minds constantly adjust to what once felt incredible. So watching The Good Place, I was definitely reminded of this idea. When Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and Jason first arrive in The Good Place, they're experiencing everything for the very first time. For example, Chidi finally has unlimited time to study philosophy without worrying about any deadlines, and Tahani learns skills she never had the opportunity to pursue on Earth. And thus, the audience shares their excitement, because these are dreams they've had with them throughout the whole series and their whole lives. The years keep passing though, and eventually curiosity and venturing into the unknown becomes a lot harder to satisfy because there are fewer unknowns left. Chidi reaches a point where he has read every philosopher he ever wanted to read, and Tahani has spent centuries becoming exceptional at everything she decides to try. Although nothing terrible has happened and the setting hasn't changed at all, time has changed their relationship with those experiences. So in other words, the excitement that once came from discovering something new, in this case the good place, becomes a little bit less happier after living with it for thousands of years. I found this idea very convincing because it isn't limited to the good place or fiction. It is actually very applicable to us. Think about something you were desperately looking forward to for a few years ago. Maybe it was getting your first phone, moving schools, or finishing something important like a project. And try remembering how exciting it felt before it happened. Now compare that feeling with how ordinary it eventually became. Of course, the achievement itself hasn't changed very much, and you might be very proud of it still, but you did become familiar with it after a lot of time. And this is what I think The Good Place understands so well. They're exploring how human beings experience time itself, because living forever slowly changes the way we value experiences. There is never any urgency. For The Good Place in particular, there's always going to be a tomorrow, no matter what, and there's really no end of time that they can see yet. Nothing ever asks to be treasured today, because there'll always be another chance. As I was finishing the last episode of The Good Place, I realized I wasn't really thinking about the afterlife anymore. I was thinking about tomorrow. The show did genuinely stay with me because it changed the way I looked at time. We often act as though there will always be something else, like another opportunity, another discussion, and another day to do the things we've been putting off. But the ending of The Good Place reminds us that no matter what, our lives are going to move forward because that's just how time works. It never goes in reverse, whether we're paying attention to it or not. And maybe that's why our time feels so precious. So before we end today's episode, I do want to leave you with one small challenge. This week, try slowing down, like just a little bit. And that's simply because this day will never exist again, and that's just the truth. When you look back on your life, maybe like 5 years from now, it won't be made up of endless tomorrows. It'll be made of days exactly like today. And that's probably the biggest lesson I took away from The Good Place. I finished the series feeling very grateful because The Good Place showed me to pay just a little bit more attention to the life that's already happening and truly living it. So thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Anna-losophy Podcast. I do really love hearing your thoughts, so if you had the choice, would you live forever, or would you choose a life with an ending? I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye everyone!